Yo, welcome back to Trippy Commentaries and our hunt for the Jetpack in Grand Theft Auto 5. We're here to show off some more interesting things with the Space Stalker. A lot of people have been talking about it lately, and if you notice, the lights are currently on. In our last episode, we showed off the Space Stalker's lights being turned on in Fort Zancudo. It turns out you can actually power on the Space Stalker anywhere in the Grand Theft Auto map. I'm RJ, joining up with C-Dub. Corey, we spotted a strange typo here on this map. It spells Mount Chiliad wrong. There's two L's, when of course Chiliad is only spelled with one L. Is that perhaps a Freudian slip? Or maybe it's actually a typo? What do you think?
I have a feeling it's hard to believe that with all the time that Rockstar put into this game, that something like this could actually happen. But I think it's just one of those things where somebody messed up and nobody noticed. Then again, maybe it's, spelled that way on purpose. Of course, the word chill. Maybe we have to get some sort of freeze weapon. Perhaps Mr. Freeze from the Batman series may make an appearance here.
Give a whole new definition to the word Chiliad. Now, this will be a pretty chill episode for you guys today. Of course, we're going to talk about the Space Stalker here. Now, as you see, the lights turn off as soon as you get out of your car. Once you get back in it, lights turn back on. We thought that you had to go to Fort Zancudo to keep those lights on, and we weren't the only ones. A lot of people, of course, talked about that. It turns out it has something to do with an attack mode. We'll show it off here. Basically, as long as you get out of your car, do a punch, I guess some sort of an attack, head back to the car immediately, wait for the lights to turn back on, and then get back out. I didn't do it fast enough there. Let me try that one more time. In fact, let me see. Probably want to get closer to the car here. All right, quick kick maneuver there. Back in the Space Stalker, turn on the lights, and then get out. Works pretty much every time as long as you do it fast enough. But there it is. So the lights are on, and you don't have to be in Fort Zancudo now. You also can have the lights turn on by pretty much getting in a fight with the cops. We'll go ahead and show that off as well. So we thought originally that as long as you have stars, maybe that's the secret. You know, maybe the lights are on because, of course, we have stars when we're in Fort Zancudo. But if you look, the lights turned off actually at a part where we had stars. So that didn't make sense. So it pretty much turns out it is some sort of an attack mode. We definitely got to give props to one of our Trippy Comms Mafia members, T-Man, for pointing it out. And now that we have stars, you can see we have one star in this case. There are no cops around. We're not in any kind of attack formation here or any kind of attack mode. But as soon as a cop does show up, then the lights will stay on. So it's very interesting. Corey, it kind of sucks in a way because we thought perhaps Fort Zancudo was an obvious trigger point. But now that we know we can turn on the lights anywhere, that could definitely be something big as far as the Chiliad mystery is concerned. But, it's just interesting how the actual Chiliad lights, or I'm sorry, the Space Stalker lights stay on to begin with. And you have to be in some kind of attack mode. What are you taking from all this?
Well, with this information that we've figured out in the previous video regarding the Space Stalker, as well as this one, where we have figured out, of course, our crew member, like you said, T-Man, big props for passing along this finding of yours. Now we can use the Space Stalker pretty much anywhere we want. We can park it, leave the lights on, perhaps using the strange colored lights of the Space Stalker in a certain point to illuminate something is one part of the multi-part theory that people have about unlocking the Jetpack, where certain characters or objects have to be on different positions on the map, and something crazy will happen. It's definitely fascinating. It's kind of unlocks an entire new set of things we can try with the Space Stalker. So we'll definitely be doing that here at Trippy Commentaries, no doubt about it.
Yeah, there's the lights on right now, guys. We all know the space docker makes a very crazy sound when you're driving. It sounds like a generator, some sort of power source. So maybe now we have to kind of figure out where the correct placement of the space docker is. We got to figure it out. Here we are back in the space docker. We think it is a huge part of the Chiliad mystery. We now know you can keep it on anywhere in the San Andreas map. Maybe this does eliminate Zancudo a little bit for us, as it would have been pretty cool if that was the special area to keep the space docker lights on. That would have been a massive Easter egg clue. But in this case, we can keep it on wherever. We just basically have to be in this attack mode. It's very interesting. Corey, do you think this is maybe some sort of a glitch, or do you think possibly Rockstar intended us to find out this, this mechanism to keep the lights on? Because we have this coil in front that looks like a plug. Now we have the ability with this generator-like vehicle to power something wherever it might be in this map.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's really a whole new set of things we need to try. Certainly, Fort Zancudo is a major point of interest. I still feel like that there's stuff yet to be discovered there. I mean, let's face it, Rockstar has added so many things into the game thus far through DLC. They could sneak something in right under our noses. We'd never even know it until one of us actually tried it and stumbled upon it. This definitely, as we see, a pretty cool night scene there. That looks pretty crazy with the moon and all. You know, to me, this is a pretty big breakthrough as far as having new theories to test out with the space docker. I mean, this thing just keeps getting more. It keeps getting more and more interesting. I mean, it floats, or not floats, but hovers a wee bit.
Kind of flies a little bit in the air.
Yes, and or glides rather. Yes. And I mean, now we know that we can get out of it and the lights stay on. So I mean, I definitely think we can use this to illuminate something as one part of a bigger puzzle.
Yeah, it's interesting how we have our Back to the Future DeLorean theory, where we're trying to get this to 88 miles per hour. And for the most part, we've been trying to be true to the movie. So we're doing it going through the tunnel there in Los Santos on the train tracks, like in Back to the Future 3. Maybe we have to do it on one of these back roads here. As you can see, it's not going to be nearly as easy as some of the straightaways that we've done the theory on, like the runway in Fort Zancudo. Perhaps you have to have enough special to fly through this back road here, which is not too far from Mount Chiliad. And we definitely, like Corey said, have a lot of new areas to explore with the space docker. We've already tried shining the crazy green light that you can no longer see because I knocked out the headlights. But we've already tried shining that on a bunch of things throughout the map. But now that we can actually get out of the car, maybe that does indeed mean something. We do have one other thing to show you guys in this episode, something that also might have a reference to the Chiliad mystery, or perhaps just the UFOs in particular. But we definitely have to go all the way back to Los Santos to show it off. We'll meet you guys there. Here we are in Michael's house. We're actually just going to show off these pictures here real quick. Obviously, we've all seen them. But isn't it interesting that just about all of the pictures in Michael's house are of Mount Chiliad, or at least the surrounding area? There are some other interesting pictures, but the majority of them definitely have Mount Chiliad in mind. So maybe we're using the wrong character. Maybe you kind of have to hand the space docker off. You know, start off with Franklin, make it so you can switch to Michael, and then drive off with the space docker. The only thing is Franklin, of course, has the special ability, so you know, that really probably has a lot to do with it. We're gonna go ahead and grab a chopper and meet you guys up in the air. We are back at the Penris building. There's still a lot to show off around here. In fact, right behind the Penris building, you can see this structure, which looks a little bit like the Zancudo UFO. Now, of course, if you get closer to ground level, It looks like some sort of bird of prey, perhaps a firebird or an eagle or a phoenix. But once you climb the altitude and get higher into the skies, you can see the same amount of edges as the Zancudo UFO. Is it just a coincidence? I don't know, guys. It looks a lot like it to me. C-Dub, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it's certainly the same size, roughly, as the UFOs we've seen in the game. And something that really just struck me that you pointed out is that we see a statue in the center of some sort of winged creature, like you said, maybe a bird of prey. Wouldn't you say that a UFO, something that hovers high above the Earth and attacks us or abducts us, that's much of a bird of prey itself, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely could be correlated to perhaps an eagle taking its prey out of nowhere. Of course, the mouse doesn't even see it coming, much like the random civilians here of San Andreas who are abducted. The UFOs come and snatch them up and do who knows what to their bodies. Definitely making this area a little bit more suspicious, C-Dub, that's for sure. We have the what could be at least an Easter egg over at the Maze Bank, which is right over behind this building here. Perhaps, as you guys can see, perhaps that is the Easter egg, and maybe there's other things to find, as we've just found maybe a clue to the UFO. There's also another structure of lights around here that some say look like the Jetpack symbol itself. You have a bunch of cubes, of course the Maze Bank cube right here, the logo. A lot to look at, and even the light that is shined on the Maze Bank can kind of be correlated back to the Space Docker, as that green looks a little bit familiar. C-Dub, we're definitely going to have to go exploring with the Space Docker. Definitely shine the light on some new areas. What are you thinking? You think we should start off here in the city, or perhaps head back out into the desert and the frontier lands of GTA 5?
I don't know, man. Maybe we'll start at some of the major locations here in the city. I definitely see a lot of that same color of so-called Space Docker green in the lights all around the downtown area here near the Penris building. Super, super suspect. We'll probably have to check out in the city, as well as, like you said, out in the more remote locations in San Andreas.
Definitely, guys, make sure to stay tuned. We have a huge new episode planned for you for the weekend, so we'll definitely get that out Saturday morning for you. Make sure to watch out for that. Of course, if it's already past Saturday morning, make sure you guys click on that video. We'll put a link in the description, and we'll definitely see you guys as we have a lot more planned. It's an eye-opening experience now that the Space Docker can pretty much be used as a power generator anywhere in San Andreas. So we have our work cut out for us. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. More importantly, guys, stay trippy. See you on the flip side.